The Home Ministry sources have told NDTV that the Maoists may have specifically targeted the convoy of Congress leaders on Saturday as a soft target. According to top Home Ministry sources, the Maoists suffered major setbacks in the last 2 to 3 months and they wanted to retaliate. They appointed Central Committee member K. Sudarshan. Sudarshan avoided security forces and aimed for the political convoy as a soft target. The Home Ministry has issued an advisory to other Maoist hit states warning that more attacks are possible. Srinivasan Jain now joins us in our studio for more on that and other developments. Vasu, it seems like a claim, counterclaim between the state and the centre on security?
That's right, Amitabh. In fact, we are seeing now a sharpening of the rhetoric between both these sides. So far, they've been trying to exercise some kind of restraint, but now each side is coming out very strongly, trying to pin the blame on the other. Now, so far, essentially what's been happening is that it's been the centre which has been claiming that the state government simply did not do enough, that they didn't deploy enough security forces to protect their own leaders as they were driving through this Naxal-affected area. To counter that, what we've got details for the first time is a letter that was written by the Chief Minister Raman Singh to the Governor of Chhattisgarh, where essentially he has pointed out that there were enough steps taken by the state government to try and protect all of those leaders who were driving through. Now, what this letter says, and this is of course entirely now based on their own claims, they claim that almost 800 forces were deployed to protect the Congress political yatra that went through this region. They claim that of that, 300 were in the Bastar district and 400 plus 100, 500 were in Sukma, where the actual rally took place. Of that, they say 108 were actually deployed to protect the rally, which is very different from the Congress claim. They said they only saw about 30-40 cops there at the rally, and they also claimed 409 were deployed for the road opening. Now, this is a crucial detail because questions are being asked as to how the Naxals managed to mine an area or a road through which such a large political convoy was going to be passing through. They claim that 409 were deployed there. Also, they've given details of how many police were actually deployed with each of these leaders to accompany them through this journey. In addition to their own personal security officers, how many did the state government provide? And to that, the figure is Mahendra Karma was given 10 cops, Nandkumar Patel 6, VC Shukla 4, and if you add the number of pilot cops, what they call the ring around, and follow-up cops who are following the convoy, that comes to another 16. So totally about 30 cops were deployed or given or assigned to these top leaders and to this convoy as it went through, which isn't a very large number for a sensitive region like this. But what the state government seems to suggest is that the bigger numbers were actually used for area domination and for road opening, and that is actually a fairly vague description because you can't actually pinpoint were they there or not. But at least these are the details that they have sent to the governor in an attempt to deflect criticism from their own role. Now, as a counter to this, or as part of this ongoing exchange, we also have the Home Ministry advisory, which has been issued to all the Naxal-affected states just now after this attack. And that advisory says that the Ministry of Home Affairs had repeatedly advised the LWE or left-wing extremism affected states to take adequate security measures during this sensitive summer period where political leaders are being specifically targeted. And this is their attempt to say that, look, we gave them enough warning, but off the record, they're being even stronger. What they're saying is that basically a senior SP or IG level police official should have coordinated this security for this entire yatra. The sense is nothing was done. This was left to individual police stations who've made, and I quote, desultory arrangements, and that is perhaps why this entire fiasco took place. They claim this figure that the state government is banding of 700-800 cops is not something that they're likely to believe. But of course, we have to take all this with a pinch of salt because each side, Amitabh, is really trying to pass the buck on to the next. But in the middle of all of this, of course, is the fact that senior officials in charge of security and of all of this, like the Home Minister particularly, is not here.
The
he's
Home
away.
Minister having a meeting with the US Homeland Secretary between the 22nd and 24th and 20th and 22nd. We have a picture of that if we can pull out. But also you have information that the CRPF director is also on leave.
That's right. The CRPF director, this was his annual time of leave. He's away, and even though this incident has now taken place 48 hours ago, he himself is not back in the saddle. So both he and the Home Minister is missing. And in fact, as Amitabh said, if you can put that picture on the screen, Amitabh, this is where the Home Minister is.
This is the meeting which took place on the 21st in Washington, D.C. between Janet Napolitano, the U.S. Homeland Secretary, and Sushil Kumar Shinde. These were scheduled meetings. He was on official tour between the 20th and 22nd, but has extended his tour for personal reasons. This is not official reasons that he has extended his tour there. And as Srinivasan was pointing out, the CRPF director is also on leave. Two top officials missing in action after that Naxal attack.
So I think that's the key point, that while he did go for the official trip, he has stayed on and extended it for personal reasons. And I think that is what has led to criticism, that surely in a time like this, he could have immediately cancelled the personal part of his trip and rushed right back.
We remember David Cameron when that UK soldier was killed in London. But also, you have information about how the Maoists had picked K. Sudarshan to lead this attack, in a sense, targeting soft targets?
That's right. Basically, Amitabh, from what we understand from Home Ministry sources, and if you can put those graphics of Katakam Sudarshan once again on the screen, that essentially the Naxals have been suffering major setbacks over the past 2-3 months, at least that's what the Home Ministry claims, in this area. Totally around 43 Naxals have died, some of them fairly senior level Naxals in all the left-wing extremist or LWA affected states as a whole. In a response to this, they decided to do something major to establish their presence. And Katakam Sudarshan, who's a Central Committee member, which is the highest decision-making body of the CPI Maoists, was given charge to do something, to take responsibility for an attack. And this attack, they believe, is a response, or is essentially Katakam Sudarshan therefore carrying out that brief. The surprising thing, of course, is that they chose to attack a political convoy. This is not something which has been done in the past. Normally, they've targeted security forces. And so there is an element of consternation and confusion about why they chose to do that. Other than the fact that it's a soft target, it's probably easier to attack a convoy of politicians than security. And of course, the possibilities that Mahendra Karma was part of this convoy, that still remains in the realm of speculation. But this was largely for them to counter the fact that they were losing their top leadership, to re-establish their presence in the public domain and in the media, and also to give their own cadre some kind of a sense of confidence. And in response to this, of course, as I pointed out, the CRPF, now 2,000 additional forces have been deployed by the Home Ministry. They're going to be made available to Chhattisgarh to launch, we're likely to see possibly some fairly serious operations in that area.